In this video, I want to give you some tips on purchasing a used vehicle. The first thing I want to say is, man, try not to get overwhelmed with this process. It's probably something that has to be done, and you just need to kind of focus on trying to make a purchase that's not going to be too costly for you. One of the first things you want to do as someone that's looking for a vehicle is to decide what vehicle you want to purchase. If you're familiar with a certain manufacturer and brand, you may want to stick with that. If you've had good success with a particular car in the past, you may want to continue purchasing that, but try to pick a top 3 vehicle that you'd want to purchase in your price range. And this video will probably pertain to most vehicles 10 years old and older. So let's get started. If you're not a mechanic, there's 2 primary sources of places that you will find a vehicle. One is a private party that's selling a vehicle. Man, I tell people, if someone is selling a vehicle, there's a reason. They've either bought a new vehicle because they got it like that, or that vehicle is getting to the point where maintaining it costs more to them than it would be to replace it, which is rarely the case. So do be aware that if someone's selling a car, there's likely something wrong with it that they don't want to deal with. It could be something minor that you could drive with for 100 years, or it could be something major that's about to go out, and those people will have to do something real important like replace an engine or transmission. The other source is, of course, new and used car sales dealerships or car places. Those have cars that people traded in, sold to them. They purchased them from auctions. Some of those used car places take a car, they get it checked out to try to make sure the car will last 30 to 60 days, and then they sell it. So if there's something broke, they usually try to fix it before they try to sell the car. Now, if you're looking at a 10-year-old car, a lot of those cars have very low trade-in value, especially cars that are 15, 20 years old. You may find a car for sale for $5,000. The trade-in value is only $800. So some people, instead of giving those cars over to a place where they get $800 for, they'll sell it to someone they know, or to a friend or something like that. Those cars are often really good deals, because instead of paying $5,000 for them from a used car place, they may only be asking $2,000 or $3,000. So you get a car that might have a minor oil leak, or some window doesn't go up or down or something like that, for a decent price. At any rate, I'm gonna give you the things here that I recommend you do to try to make a decent decision on purchasing a car. So let's just look at it from the aspect of you're buying a car that somebody has for sale. Now, if you get a car from a dealer, used or new, they usually have the title in their possession. If you're purchasing a car from a private party, there's a chance that they don't have the title. So there's a few questions you want to ask them before you ever get into it. First things first, if you find a car for sale on Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that, you want to send a person a message. Introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Robert. I seen your ad on Craigslist. I'm interested in your car. Can you give me a call, or can I call you? If you can't have a conversation with the person, just move on. Just texting and emailing and messaging back and forth is a waste of a lot of time, because you can ask somebody a few questions quickly, and in 5 minutes know if you're going to move forward or back up. So send that message and get a reply, hopefully get to talk to somebody. When you get that person on the phone, there's a couple things you want to ask. Greet them. Hey, I appreciate you letting me talk to you about the car. I'm looking for a car. I'm ready to purchase today. Are you in a position where you can sell that car today? Question number 1. Let them answer that. So if they say yes, say, okay, is that vehicle in your name? Is your name on the title? You want to know that right off the top. You don't need to be talking to somebody that doesn't have the ability to sell the car. If they say yes, say fantastic. Do you have that title on hand so that if I come look at it, I can purchase it and move on? You want to know those 3 things. If all of those are favorable answers, then you can say, okay, I'd like to come see it. When is a good time I could come and look at the vehicle? A lot of people have problems making decisions, so give them an option. Option one or option two. Can I come today at 5, or would tomorrow morning at 10 be better? Of course, those options need to work for you. Give them an A or B. Get an appointment set so you can have an appointment to go see the car. After you get an appointment, you say, hey, I got one more question before I come over. Is that car running, and is there anything that needs to be done immediately for me to safely drive that car to another state? And then just shut up. Let them talk. If there's something major going on with that car, they're probably going to spill the beans. You didn't ask them, is there something wrong with the car? You asked them, is there something that I should need to get fixed before I take that car on a long journey? You may not ever be intending on taking it on a long journey, but you want to know what some mechanic or they know needs to be done before that car could be trustworthy for a road trip. They may say it needs brakes or it needs tires. Just let them talk. And if the things they say don't scare you away, says, man, I appreciate you sharing that information. I will see you today at 4. And then just prepare to go and look at the vehicle. You're going to deal with purchasing a vehicle in stages. First, you're going to get that little bit of information up front. Then you're going to go look at it, do what I call pre-inspection. Then you're going to test drive it. And then you're going to do a post-inspection. And if all of that looks good, I suggest you take the car and have it inspected by a professional car inspector or a mechanic that you or someone you know trust. They can look over the car and give you a list of everything they think needs to be done to the car to service it, keep it on the road for a while, whether those items are urgent, non-urgent, or just live with those kind of issues. So let's get started. Here are a few things I recommend you take with you to go look at a car. 1, a pair of gloves so you don't get dirty, get chemicals on your hands. 2, a rag so you can wipe things off, check the oil. 3, a pad that you can lay down on the ground or a blanket and look under the car. 4, if you don't have one, you may want to purchase one, but get some kind of code reader so that you can plug it into the car and read the codes. It don't have to be an expensive one. You can probably get them between $70 and $100, but if you can get your hands on one, great. If not, whoever you take the car to get it inspected will scan it for codes. And last but not least, take yourself a little flashlight. Next, you show up to look at the car. This vehicle here is actually 30 years old. They're my favorite car. They're real dependable. I drive these cars all over the country. Doesn't matter to me if it has 100,000 miles or 300,000 miles. That car is a candidate because these were really solid made cars. Now again, you pick the model and brand that you like, go look at it, see if it meets your needs. The first thing you want to do upon arrival, of course, is greet the owner. But before you get there, tell them you want to see that car cold. You do not want that car warmed up, the engine hot. Somebody had driven it within the last 3 hours. You want that car cold so that you can start it cold. It's important to start a car when it's cold, let it warm up, shut it down, and start the car again when it's hot. That way you know if the car will start cold and if it will start hot with no problems. You arrive to look at the car. You want to see if the car looks decent. All of the lights in the lenses and all of that stuff appear to be intact. It doesn't have any body damage on the car that's going to stop you from purchasing it. If it has body damage, that lowers the price. So if you're trying to find something that's priced lower, you may accept a car with some body damage. But in general, you want to be proud of your purchase, so you don't want to purchase a car that's all beat up. So take a look at the car, make sure everything appears to be in good shape. When you're doing your walk around, you want to turn on all the lights, make sure they work. Turn on the hazards, turn on the turn signals, stuff like that. Make sure all the lights work properly. Then take a look at the inside. Make sure that everything seems to be in decent shape. Little stuff like this is expected of a 30-year-old car, but not of a 5-year-old car. Make sure the seats appear to be in good condition. Everything is in decent shape. Nothing appears to be busted or broken. Next, if possible, you want to check the mileage on the car. Turn it on. Don't start it if it has a digital display. This one you can clearly see has 175,000 miles. You also want to look for a oil change sticker and see if that thing is past its due date. The last car I purchased, this mileage was 8,000 miles past the due date. I accidentally overlooked that. If I would have seen that, I would have known that the vehicle was not maintained the way they claimed. They claimed it was dealer maintained, and apparently it was only repaired at the dealer when something broke. So that's the difference between a car that's maintained and a car that just gets things fixed when it's broken. So you want to find preferably a car that's maintained, everything's probably in better shape, versus a car that only gets fixed when something is broken. Next thing you want to do is open the hood and check the fluids. You also want to look under the vehicle to see if there's any evidence of fluid leaks from the engine. You release the hood from inside the car, you open the hood, and you look at the engine compartment. A couple things you want to look for here is things that look like a 12-year-old been working on it. Things glued, taped, hanging off, broken. Just look around in the engine compartment. For example, that doesn't look original, but it looks like it might have been repaired in an acceptable way. This tube is coming off of this a little bit, needs to be properly secured. I don't see any damage to any wiring. I don't see any electrical tape. I don't see anything that looks like it was glued with epoxy. However, this has an aftermarket part here, which may or may not be an improvement. There's an engine mount there. I see no cracking in the engine mount. There's an engine mount there. That one looks like it's in good shape. There's an alarm horn. Here's hoses. Everything looks clean and dry. That's a good sign. There's a belt there, no evidence of cracking. The fluid level there is good for the coolant. The fluid level looks good there for the brake fluid. And you want to check the oil and look at the transmission oil if that has a dipstick like this one does. A lot of your newer cars do not. So you put your gloves on, you put your rag close by, you pull your dipsticks out, you look at the fluid on your dipstick. If this transmission fluid is supposed to be red or reddish, unfortunately, a lot of transmission fluid is not. So you wipe it off, you stick it back in, you pull it out. For automatic transmissions, you're not checking the level, you're checking the color of the fluid. Your engine oil is another story. You want to check the level on that. So you pull the dipstick, you wipe the dipstick off, you push it back in, you pull it back out, make sure the level is good. You usually want to do this with the car parked on a level surface, not a slanted surface like this. So if the car is not on the level surface, just make sure it has oil in there, and when you can get it to park it on the level surface, you want to recheck the oil. But make sure oil's in there, because if you're going for a test drive, you don't want the engine to seize from a lack of oil while you're the one driving it. Make sure the coolant level's good, it's got oil in it, some transmission fluid in there, brake fluid in there. Nothing looks hacked up, beat up, makeshift together. Next thing you want to do is look under the car for evidence of fluid leaks. You put your mat down, you lay down under the car, you grab your flashlight, and you look under the car. Everything should be dry. See, we got a lot of things dry here. Nothing seems to be out of place. The radiator doesn't seem to be leaking. Uh-oh, I see a drop of oil right there. So this car has some kind of fluid leak, and there's a drop of oil there. If the oil is not dripping on the ground, it's a minor leak. If there's a little puddle under the car, that leak may need to be repaired sooner than later. It's okay and kind of expected for older cars to leak a little bit, but not where it's dripping on the ground. So you want to take a look at that. You can wipe that off with your rag, drive the car, come under here again, see if there's a new drop. But that drop could have developed over several weeks. So that's what you want to do here. If you can see your CV boot, you can see it there. You may see the other one. Also look at the way the tires treads is. Make sure the tires have tread and they're not bald. It's hard to see this standing next to the car. It's easy to see it while you're on the ground looking under the car. Just glance, look for fluid leaks, look at your tires, and get off the ground. Next thing you want to do is start the car. Now, If you already have a vehicle and you have insurance, you can check with your insurance company to see if your insurance covers other vehicles that you may test drive. You want to know that before you go out to test drive somebody's car. If it does, you're in good shape. If it doesn't, you may want to have the owner of the car to drive the car for the test drive, and that's okay. But you come inside, you start the car, and you listen for weird or strange noises that an engine may make. If something starts roaring, if the engine's racing, won't go down to normal, if it's making ticking sounds, stuff like that, you want to be aware of that. You stick the key in the ignition, you turn the ignition one click, you shouldn't have any lights come on. You turn the ignition to the second click, all these lights should come on. You want to see a check engine light. You want to see a few other lights so that you know those lights work. And then you start the car to see how the car sounds once it's started. You can check the radio to see if it works, but I like to have it off so it's not making any noise and I'm able to hear the car function and run. Start the car and listen for noise. As you see, this car sounds very quiet. Start it right up the first try. It might take 2 or 3 seconds for it to start, especially if it's cold. It should start within 5 seconds. The engine sounds nice and quiet. No strange noises, no knocking, no tapping, just a smooth sound of the engine. And I think I heard the AC compressor kick on, which I did. So the AC is probably working in this vehicle. You walk around the car, make sure everything sounds normal, nothing's going on with the exhaust, and you come back and you look at the tailpipe and make sure that it's not blowing out smoke. Now when it's cold, depending on how cold it is, it may blow out a little vapor that'll clear away when you drive the car for a minute or two. Other than that, car should be nice and quiet. Now you can close the hood and take the car for a test drive. Now when you take the car for a test drive, you want to make sure that it drives smooth, the steering wheel's not shaking, especially when you're braking. There's no lights on, and as we can see here, we have a warning light, an ABS light. That means that something in the anti-lock braking system needs to be repaired or serviced. So do be aware of that. If you have a check engine light, there's something going on with the engine or the emission system that needs to be repaired. If you see a light on, look at the owner's manual, see what that light means, and you can always ask whoever's going to do your vehicle inspection to dig a little deeper in that system, give you an estimate on what it's going to cost to get that repaired, and proceed accordingly with what you offer these people to purchase the car. Now, if you'd like, you could test, see if you like the way the stereo sounds and if it works. You can move the controls before you start driving. Make sure that the heat works, the air conditioner works. Now, when the car is cold, like you see here, you may not have any heat. You may have to wait till the engine warms up a little bit. So you want to go for a test drive. You want to drive at least 10 minutes. That will let the engine warm up enough to let you know if there's something going on in the vehicle that will prevent it from starting when it gets hot. You want to drive in town, in like a neighborhood like this, slow speeds. You might want to roll the window down to see if you hear any noises while the car is rolling. You want to get up on the highway for at least one exit. Get the car up to 55, 60 miles an hour. Feel the steering wheel, see if it's shaking. Apply the brakes. See if it shakes the steering wheel. That would indicate that something's going on with the brakes. And just make sure the car runs smooth and without noises at different speeds in the neighborhood and on the interstate. Take the car for a drive. It's not a bad idea or a bad thing to make sure it accelerates smooth and make sure it slows down smooth. So what I normally do during the test drive when I get on the highway, especially getting onto the highway, I look, make sure it's clear. I put my foot on the gas pedal all the way to the floor. I want to see these RPMs rise. I want to see that the car can handle that smoothly because it was designed to. It will smoothly accelerate. It'll get up to speed in a decent, preferably quick manner, and it won't buck or stall or try to hesitate, or I've seen cars when you push on them hard, they start like they're going to cut off. You want to make sure that this vehicle is not doing that, because if it is, there's something wrong with the engine, the fuel system, or something that's preventing it from running properly. And you want to get that addressed and fixed as soon as you purchase it or before you purchase it, so that you're not purchasing something that's going to have a major repair cost. Drive the car on the interstate for a few minutes, you exit, tell everybody to hold on and hit those brakes kind of hard. I wouldn't hit them hard enough to lock it up, especially if I got an ABS light, but I would hit it hard enough to simulate me having to stop quick if I have to in a panic situation. If the car jerks or dips or steering wheel starts shaking violently, you know you got to get something done with the braking system. That could be several $100s. You just want to know this information before you pay money for a car and then have to pay several $100s to get it repaired. So you take the car for a drive, you get somewhere where the ground is level, whether it's back at where you started or somewhere else. You turn the car off, you let the car sit 5 or 10 minutes, which simulates you running in the store, coming back out. After the car is set 5 or 10 minutes, you put the key in the ignition or had the key close by, hit the start button or turn it to start. The car should start every time without you pushing your foot on the gas. Now, if it's got a button, you do have to put your foot on the brake. Putting your foot on the brake when you start a car is a good practice anyway. But go ahead, put your foot on the brake, start the car. Make sure it starts back up when it's warm. You can see there the temperature is warm. The car started back up. That's what you want to know. The car starts when it's cold. It starts when it's warm. It starts without any tricks or other things you have to do to get it started. That's an indication that you should be good to go when purchasing the car. It'll start cold. It'll start hot without any problem. After your test drive, preferably on a level surface, you want to recheck your fluid level. Make sure the brake fluid's still filled. Make sure your coolant level's still full. You may want to open up your power steering fluid. Make sure that is in a proper level on this indicator. Pull your dipstick for the oil, wipe that off, stick it back in, pull it out, check the oil level again. Make sure that's good. If your car doesn't have a dipstick, you want to learn how to do that with the controls on the steering wheel, if that's the kind of car you have. You have to know how to check the oil at least daily for the first few days you have the car, and then after that, preferably every time you get gas, you're supposed to check the oil in the car. I do it no less than once a month, or if I'm driving long distances, every other time I get gas. Again, you listen to the engine running, make sure it sounds fine. There's no new noises present. If anything, it may be a little quieter, and then you proceed from there. Now, I always tell people, you need to do a little research. You need to know how much that car cost when it was brand new, how much these people are asking for it, how much is the trade-in value on that car, and how much is possibly private party sale prices. Now, if you're looking at a car that's extremely clean, it looks better than most of its age, it's been well taken care of, they have service records, it doesn't need any service, there's no pending service needed, that car may sell higher than it says it's worth. Remember, if you're looking at something like J.D. Powers, NADA Guides, Kelley Blue Book, Edmunds, they normally tell you the average price of a vehicle. Some's going to sell higher, some's going to sell lower. That usually depends on the condition and if that car has any pending service or repairs needed, or if the body's in some kind of bad shape. Some people even pull Carfax on the car to see if it's been any kind of accidents and things like that. But one quick way to tell if a car has been in an accident is that the spacing around the car is all uniform. You see how wide this crack is here? That crack should be the same all the way around the car. It should be here. You see it's a little tighter here. That's not good. It should be the same between every door And if you see areas that there is no space there, or that there's evidence that the car is having panels touched, you know that that car has been in some kind of accident. If you're buying a car just to drive it, that may not be a big deal. But if you're buying a car because of its classic value, or because you plan on keeping it and reselling it, hopefully for what you pay for it later, that may make a difference. Your Carfax sometimes will show previous accidents. Now, there's one thing you got to keep in mind when purchasing a car. If you're purchasing a luxury or car that was expensive when new, let's say you're looking at a BMW that was $60,000 new, and now it's being sold for $5,000. You're $55,000 away from that car being like new. Don't get too excited that you're getting an expensive luxury car for such a low price. It may need to have a lot of that money put back into it to be a good, reliable, dependable car. Again, if you're looking at a car that was $50,000 new and you're buying it for $1,500, you are $48,500 away from that car being like new. Again, just keep that in mind. Just a point of reference. Like I said, with the research, you want to know what those cars' trade-in value is. You want to know if this car has any pending immediate maintenance or repairs needed, and you want to know how much of that stuff's been done. Sometimes they'll have service records, but I've learned over the last few years that most car resale places, used and new car places, they destroy any records that are in the car because they don't want you to see gaps in the service of it. They just don't want to deal with those questions. So you're probably not going to find any service records. There's a few big ticket items you want to be aware of when purchasing a car. Tires is one of them. To get a good set of tires, you're probably going to spend between $700 and $1,000. Getting the air conditioning fixed, that could be $1,000 easy. Getting an alternator replaced, if they have to jump the car to start it, it may need an alternator. That's $800 to $1,000. Getting an oil leak fixed could run several $100s. So do be aware that these things cost money, and although they may not break the deal, you don't want to get into a car and have all this expense and not be prepared for it. So if your budget is $4,000 and you're looking at a car, they want $4,000 for it, but it needs an air conditioning system and new tires, you may only be able to afford to offer $2,000 or $2,500 for that car, so that you can have money to put into it to bring it to the condition that you need it to be in. If after going through all this, you're still on go, make an agreement to take the car to a mechanic to check out. Even though it may not have a check engine light, if you scanned it with a code reader, you may find code still in the system. One time I was in Albuquerque, I needed to drive home 800 miles. I had to purchase a car because I sold the car I had while I was out there. And I scanned the car, I found 4 codes in the system that did not trigger the check engine light. That allowed me to negotiate $600-700 off the price so that I can get that stuff dealt with later. At any rate, you don't want to buy a car without knowing if there's codes in there. One of the things I mentioned is that you take the car to a reputable mechanic or have a car inspector check the car out to make sure that the car is roadworthy and you understand what you're getting into before you purchase a car and transfer title. If the current owner doesn't want to let that happen, that's you taking more risk. You may or may not want to proceed, but most of the time I usually request that they let me take the car to a mechanic, get checked out. So I will usually give them a deposit on the vehicle. 10% is usually fine. If they're asking $4,000, I give them a $400 deposit. I take the car to a mechanic, I get it checked out. If the car passes the mechanic's inspection, I finalize the purchase. If the car doesn't, I normally ask for my deposit back, but really I'm not that broken if they don't give the deposit back, because me walking away from a $4,000, $6,000, $8,000 mistake is worth a couple $100s to me. So most people don't want a deposit. They'll let you have the car checked out without one, but you do want to have a mechanic on standby so you can bring a car in on short notice Get it checked out, and so you can decide if you want to purchase it or not. I haven't had a car checked out for a while, but typically you'll find mechanics that can look over the car. They'll check for leaks, they'll scan it for codes, they'll check the tires, they'll check the brakes, they'll check for worn suspension parts, stuff like that. They'll do that anywhere from $75 to $200. So be prepared to do that as a safety precaution on your investment. And I appreciate you watching the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them below. Thanks, and I hope that helps. Have a great day. If you made it this far, I trust that you found some information that was either useful or entertaining, so go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like notification of future videos that I post, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. You can follow me on other social media apps by looking for @RobertDIY. Some form of that should bring up the other channels that I have on places like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. If for some reason you need some more personal help, go to my website at robertdiy.com and use the phone number that I have posted there to send me a text message, or you can email me. If you have questions or comments, please make a comment below. And if you'd like to make some kind of financial contribution to what I got going on here, go to my channel and hit the more link at the end of the introduction statement, and it'll show you different ways that you can support me financially. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.